Brian Love, welcome to the COVID313 Town Hall, and I am going to let you take it away.
Thank you, Christine. So we know each other now, and so moving forward, we'll get to know each other even better. Hello to all of you, particularly all my friends on this call. I didn't realize I had so many friends on this call. Just to get right to it, a number of folks know that, or a lot of folks didn't know that I had COVID. I mean, that's the way COVID kind of works, right? You know, when you're sick, you can't really talk, so you can't tell people that you're sick. So my family, my household, and I became sick with COVID March 13th, 2020. Literally when the state was just hitting the state, and we were all just figuring out what it was. My wife and kids and I, we were all virtually diagnosed with different things, mostly bronchitis or me with severe flu, although I had the flu 2 months prior. So everybody was still trying to figure out what it was, but literally, although my household, we went through this together, we still went through it separately. We didn't know what to do, so we were all literally in our own rooms for a number of weeks. Fortunately, my wife and kids, they were able to get better and heal after a few weeks. For me, it took a few months before I was COVID negative. And still today, even after becoming COVID negative last July, I still have some side effects that still bother me to this day that I'm working very aggressively to get through because I plan on being around for a while. But I can tell you, I also learned some very special things that I don't think I would have appreciated before COVID, but I appreciate now. So I would just say that it's been last year, 2020 was a rough year. 2021 has probably started off a rough year, but it's been rough for all of us. So this is the one time I think in our entire planet that everybody can say we all had a rough year and we all had a rough year together. So I think figuring out how we do it, get through this together is how we actually really try to survive. Speaking of survival, so some of my effects, COVID affected me by, I didn't go to the hospital because at the time it was early in the pandemic and I could breathe, but I didn't realize that I was struggling to breathe at the time. I had major flu-like symptoms. It's hard for me to really talk, hard for me to really move. My mother, who had it at the same time, although we only lived like a 5-minute drive away from each other, we couldn't see each other, could barely talk. Luckily, she wasn't as severely affected as me, but my mother would call me every day. And if just to hear me grunt and moan and say something, then that's kind of what kept us going day in, day out. I've never been separated from my family the way I was, although we were in the same house. We were literally in separate rooms. My son, who was the last one to catch COVID, actually caught it because he actually had to take care of all of us. And so we really struggled with that. I still struggle with the fact that my son got sick because he had to take care of me and the family. He did the shopping. He went to Walmart. He was the guy who, if somebody was fighting over a case of water, he needed to get that last case of water to bring it home to his family. He made sure we ate. He made sure we took our medication. And then eventually he got sick. Luckily and fortunately, he recovered actually quicker than the rest of us, which was a blessing. So definitely have learned a lot through this process. I've learned to respect that, our health is important. I know a lot of folks lost a lot of people last year, but we've all lost a lot of people this last year. One of the things that stands out for me is, in our community especially, a lot of folks have already had pre-existing conditions. COVID tends to make it 10 times worse. And so it really is, I really, anytime I get a chance, I tell folks, one, get your vaccine. Anytime I talk to and also care for your health. Men of color, we tend not to take healthcare as seriously as others. We need to, and we need to be able to feel fortunate to talk about it. So I don't have a problem talking to people about my health. Before this, I probably never would have. But I lost a lot of friends last year, and I don't want to go through another year like this again. I spent 4 years in the Marines, deployed overseas. They don't train you to deal with losing family and friends. So anytime I could be a help to anyone to improve their health care, you can sign me up. I'm there. Come pull me on out, Christine.
All right. So I think it has been a really difficult year, and so there's just been a lot of sorrow, and some opportunity, right? So like what you just said, Brian, about recognizing how important it is to care for your health and to take that time. I hope that resonates with the folks that are listening, because it is so important. Could you just in 30 seconds, I know that you got the vaccine, even though you experienced COVID. Can you just share in 30 seconds why you got vaccinated?
Like I ended, I don't want to, I have parents who are both in their 70s, and they, if I want to spend time with them, I need to be vaccinated so I can make it safe for them and for me. And, I just, I'm one of about 8 brothers and sisters. And I actually have 1 or 2 brothers, and they probably hate that I mention this, but I won't say their name, but 1 or 2 brothers that really don't want to take the vaccine. I said, that's too bad, because I love you, but I don't plan on seeing you, and I'm vaccinated. I'd rather get vaccinated. When I took my vaccine, I probably had some kind of rough side symptoms, but it compares to nothing like being sick with COVID. I'd rather go through 4 shots of Moderna than going through 1 day of COVID. And that's just real talk. That's just real talk. And I get all the conspiracy theories. I get all that. But it's easy to say that and you've not had COVID. You had COVID one time, just one time. I think you'll be clear.
Well, Brian, I'm just going to echo what's been put in the chat of we are so appreciative of you sharing your story and, quite frankly, being vulnerable. And we wish you continued healing as you continue to work through the long-term effects. And thank you for providing a little inspiration today and a reminder of how serious this is. So thank you so much, Brian. We appreciate you, and we're really lucky that you're here to tell this story. So thank you.
You can find more at onedetroitpbs.org or subscribe to our social media channels and sign up for our One Detroit newsletter.